What is up? This is Willy from Willy Can't Draw, and thanks for tuning in. Today we're doing something different. We're doing story time. We're gonna be doing some stories. We're talking about bullies. Today is bullies. I'm gonna tell you at least one of my bully stories. I wasn't the bully. The one I'm starting with, is a bit of a bully story, or it's a bully story. I was getting bullied, and then this is how I dealt with the bully. Alright, so it's the 7th grade, junior high. I know everyone says it, like, I'm awkward. Everybody's awkward. But, like, I'm not good at, like, making friends. I'm just a quiet guy. I draw. Is what I do. Well, some of my friends were friends with this other guy, and this guy was a huge butthole. Giant butthole. And this dude, he'd make fun of me a lot, because he's a little guy. And as we all know, that Napoleon syndrome, like, that's real. A little dude with a chip on his shoulder can be really mean. And this kid would just constantly, I didn't even know him. He would just constantly make fun of me. And, now that as an adult, you're like, oh, he's intimidated by your size and he needs to, to him, he feels like he needs to bring you down a little bit. Well, he was constantly making fun of me. And so I got tired of it and I wanted to figure out what to do. I needed to know what to do. So I started thinking about it and I devised a plan. Over the next few days or weeks, I don't remember how long it took, I was passing behind him while he was at his locker. I'd casually stroll by, with the acting ability of a kid in junior high, just like, and as he's putting in his combination for his locker, I look over his shoulder and I get like one number. And then the next day I look over his shoulder and try to get another, and I keep doing this until I get the numbers. And I not only get the numbers, I get the order of the numbers. Because, it's one thing to just look and see a number. But then you have to see which one he's doing first, whatever. It took a while. Especially when you're trying to do it, on the low. So, I get his numbers. I didn't know what I was going to do. I was freaking junior high kid. What I did was, during lunch, me and a friend of mine went to his locker. And we opened it. And that's literally where my plan ended. I had no idea what I was gonna do, but I'm gonna get revenge on this tiny bully. So what I do is we pull out the lunch, his lunch. He always brought a sack lunch, like he was a bully, but he has a sack lunch. I don't know. No, it wasn't during lunch. Was it during lunch? I don't remember when this was, because this obviously couldn't have been during lunch, because he would have eaten his lunch during lunch, and I would have been in the cafeteria. I don't remember when we did it. Holy crap. I don't remember when we did it. But me and my buddy showed up and we opened up his locker and we grabbed his lunch. Or I opened up his locker. I grab his lunch. I'll take responsibility for it. So I pull out this sack lunch and I just start stomping away on it. I start stomping away on this thing. And I was like, this will show him. And it obviously won't, because he won't know who did it. And there was no real plan here, but this is what I did. I stomped on it. And then I stopped and I stepped back. And then my buddy, instead of thinking, oh, he's done, he goes, my turn. And he just starts dancing on this bag of lunch. Just destroying it. So I finally have to pull him off, like the guy was the lunch was making fun of his mother. I pull my buddy off, and then I'm panicking now because this dude, he was making a lot of noise. So I scoop up the lunch, I throw it back in the locker, we close it, and we take off. Well, like I said before, me and this bully, we weren't friends, but we ran in similar circles. It's now lunchtime. I'm gonna go sit with people I know, and I sit down with my lunch tray, and I start eating my lunch. And then down on the other end of the table, he has his sack lunch with all our footprints all over it. He didn't even dust them off. What is that, footprints? Cool. And then kept going. He just sits down with his sack lunch and he opens it. Or he doesn't, he opens it. He pulls out his chips. He pulls out his chips. And they're not even chips anymore. They're just ground into dust. It's just chip dust. And so he takes a little pinch of chip dust and puts it in his mouth. I don't know if he made his own sack lunch, then he knows something's afoot. But if his mom made his sack lunch, then he was just like, man, I don't know what happened to Mom today, but she was angry. Like, I don't know why she just she crushed all my chips. Whenever I think about this, I always feel bad, but then it always makes me laugh. Like, so he has this little sack of chip dust, and he puts it down, and then he reaches back into the footprinted bag, and he pulls out this sandwich. Well, the sandwich isn't really a sandwich anymore because it's been stomped all over. It's now like he pulled out. You know how when you pull out when you hold a sandwich, it just stays a sandwich, right? Well, he was holding it, and it just flopped over in the bag. Like, it's almost liquefied in this bag, and like he's got the bag of sandwich, and it just like flops over. So he can't just eat it like a regular sandwich. You know how you eat a regular sandwich? You just hold it in your hands and you bite it. Well, he's holding the sandwich. The sandwich is flopped over. So he has to lift up the sandwich and get under it and like take bites. Because you can't just bite it from the middle because it'll fall apart. So he's eating the sandwich from under because the rest of it's in the bag and he can only peel it a little bit at a time. And so I'm watching this. I'm sitting there. And I'm just like, at first I was like, that's what you get, you know, in my head. I wasn't saying it out loud. But I was like, that's what you get. And then, but as I kept watching him, like, sprinkle chip dust onto his liquefied sandwich. And having to get under the sandwich, and no one's even paying him any mind. Like, everybody's just kind of like, huh, okay, like, that's weird. But everybody's just like, well, I guess everyone has their own thing. But then, for me, the worst part is he reaches back into the bag and he pulls out a juice box. And the juice box is crushed. And he reaches back into the bag and he pulls out this bent straw. And he puts it into the crushed juice box. And I forgot to mention this part, but when we threw the lunch back into the locker, before we left, like, I'm breathing hard because I'm not really athletically inclined. So stuffing a bag of lunch took a lot out of me. I'm standing there looking at it, and then I'm looking at the locker, and the locker looks like it starts bleeding. And I was like, that's weird. Let's get out of here. Well, it turns out we crushed the juice box. A fruit punch juice box. It was red. And so now he's drinking from this crushed, half-empty juice box. I didn't notice, but there's juice on the bag. Like, it looks like when you buy, like, fast food and the grease is all over the bag. That's what it looked like, but it looks like something just died in the bag. So he's drinking this crushed juice box with this little sprinkle of chip dust on his liquefied sandwich, and he's going back and sprinkle of chip dust and liquefied sandwich, sip from the half empty juice box. And I just, in my head, was just like, wow, that's what he gets. That's what he gets. Don't be a butthole to people, and maybe they won't be one to you. It's like, cause, yeah, that was I'm not proud of that story, but I know what it looked like, and it really made me laugh. It really makes me laugh whenever I think about it. That guy was a huge butthole. And he chilled out after that. I never had any trouble with him after that anymore. And then later on in the year, he found out it was me that did that. He came up to me and told me, and I laughed at him. And he didn't talk to me anymore. So mission accomplished, everybody. I'm saying, like, bullies can be handled. I didn't do this because I'm a big, confident person. I did this because I am not going to stand for being bullied. I don't stand for bullying. And I will not be bullied, even if I have to become a bully myself. If there's any kids listening to this, don't do this. But also, F that guy. F that guy. Like, don't be a butthole and things like this won't happen to you. And also, don't do things like this, because then bad things will keep happening to you. Oh, well, that's my first bully story. I have another bully story, and we'll save that one for next time. So keep tuning in to Willy Can't Draw. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Like and subscribe if you enjoy this at all. And 2 wrongs don't make a right. Later.